Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the channel. On this episode, I am in my Standard B, Tier 9 Italian medium tank on the new Italian line. I'm Muravanka spawning into the south spawn, headed over to the east side. And we are going to watch a pretty nifty little game, if I don't say so myself, and I do. Fun little game, Snatching Victory from the Jaws of Defeat. So I'm going to head over here to the east side. We got a pretty good crowd coming this way. And I've been having a rough time with this tank. Right now at about 108 battles or so, I'm at 49% win rate, which is not good, especially for me. I would have expected to be at least 53 to 55, and if I was doing well, somewhere around 57 or 58. But sitting down at 49, and because this tank is difficult to carry, and it really is. It takes a lot of care. The autoloader is a bit tricky. All autoloaders are, and if you're not careful, you can really get overextended and killed, and this is something I'm running into quite a bit. Being over aggressive. In addition to that, as I've talked on my coffee talks, the meta of the game has shifted heavily towards camping, so it is extremely difficult right now for mediums to do really well. So those are all my excuses. Plus, I'm not playing very well. So there you go. In any event, though, I come over here and I've got a good crowd with me, so I'm going to be careful. Usually I've already poked and peeked and looked for that 263 that was back there, but I'm going to let other people do that a little bit. See if I can't actually get a win. So being very careful so far. I'm peeking right here because I know that 263 is back there in one of those bushes, and if he sees me, easily pens right through the turret. That's another thing that is difficult at this point. If you don't have something with very strong turret armor, because of the way World of Tanks is played, you're at a disadvantage. That's just the way it is, the way the undulations in the terrain are, the points where people fight. In general, good depression and a strong turret is going to give you a massive advantage. And this tank just doesn't have a really good turret. So we're in a little bit of a skirmish here, and the problem is they're a bit stronger over on the west side, and they're fighting a little bit better over there. You'll see how that rolls out. We're having a hard time getting these guys lit, so they're really camping hard back in trees and bushes back there. They've got a couple spotters up front, kind of like we're doing. We got a 95 sitting way back there. The Patton's behind us. The T-30 is way back there. So we don't really have any forward tanks at the moment. So I see the 263 fire, so I'm going to go ahead. Oops, he didn't fire. There you go. So I got one on him. Kind of a lucky pen without aiming. That one doesn't go anywhere, and I'm able to put one more into the lower part. Maybe got into his lower plate, or just the fact that I'm running with the heat and the higher penetration. I'm going to push up in here, get a little more aggressive, and see if we can't keep these guys lit. That gets me lit. I've got to watch out for the artillery. We're down a couple tier 9s over there, and they're really pushing in towards our cap. So something has to be done over here. So we're going to push in. The Skoda kind of gets it. I'm going to come in here and try to help as well. T10's up top. We got a 1390 lighting guys up, hoping to get some lights, but we don't see anything. The standard Bs, those are the ones I was kind of worried about. They might have been further back in the trees, but it doesn't look like they're anywhere near. I feel like maybe they went across to the other side, or they're way back by the cap. So we need to get that 263 out. I'm waiting to get another round into this auto loader. It is much better to fire, if you're going to fight it as a standard tank, to fire with the 3 shells loaded, take a shot, and then let the 3rd shell reload, as opposed to take 3 shots and then constantly reload the first, because it just takes longer for that first one to reload. And that retains the burst capability. But if you need to, go ahead and put that burst in there. So I'll come in here, take that 263 out. Instead of pushing towards the cap, turn around and go back towards our cap, because obviously we have an issue back there. We lose most of our heavy stuff, which is not good. Interestingly, those 2 standard Bs have not been seen for a while. They are platoon, so unknown where those 2 got off to. More than likely back by their cap, or maybe moving around to the east side. So we'll see where they pop up again. We've got guys all over where they were, so they're clearly not there anymore, and that's some really old intel. So I'm going to go all the way back here, which I've shown in multiple videos, kind of where that Batchat 25 TAP is. We're going to look for shots on guys in the side. Well, right now I'm trying to get some draw distance on the Type 4 and see if I can get some shots. I probably missed a shot there. I probably missed a shot on the Skoda, but I was also not wanting to get too exposed right there. and he backs down. So 2 shots, opportunities probably missed. And now we're in even worse shape. So we're 5 to 8. We got guys trapped in the middle, which is why I don't like moving across the middle in a situation like this. They own that high ground. They've got guys over here. Almost unbelievable how fast that Type 4 got a shot on me. So I am not sure if that was just a miss on the Bat Chat 25T or he was aimed in there and saw me lit and shifted his aim. I mean, that was pretty unreal. And he nails me with AP. Thank goodness it wasn't HE, because a pen in my side with HE would have been a lot more hit points. So I'm just trying to take a look at where these guys are. We got that scout. That was a huge kill. I was hoping to get a side shot on him, but he just doesn't come from to the other side of that stupid building right there. And now I'm down to 1 heat shot. I just go ahead and knock down that building, but unfortunately doesn't do me any good, so probably not really a great move. Still, I needed to start reloading for the full 3 clip. And the T-30 is hiding behind that building right there, and he's doing a pretty good job. They know he's there, but he's keeping them honest. He's also not poking out. A few pokes and he goes down pretty quick. So me and the Bat Chat are kind of thinking about this, and I see the Bat Chat thinking about moving up. When you just can't quite get across there, just pause this for a second. There's a couple open spots as you're crossing, and there's no way to get into those trees before these guys right here will see you, and there's just not any cover to get down into until you get to around here, where you can finally get up and over some of the undulations and get low. But the question then becomes, where are those 2 standard Bs? Have they filtered into there? So crossing over right there just isn't a good idea right now. You can see one of the standard Bs has showed up over there. And the Bat Chat proves that that's a bad idea. Somebody saw him. So there's clearly either somebody there with good enough spotting on the corner of the hill where the T10 and the Type 4 are, or potentially somebody in the bushes on the K line over there. So it's just time to get out of here. So I'm going to change my fight. And at this point in my mind, I'm thinking, well, here we go. Another loss. Those guys are all trapped, pinned down in the middle. They're going to get picked off one by one. So I'm going to swing around all the way to the north, see if I can't get a shot or 2 in the middle. So I'll stay close enough here that if I can get a shot or 2, I'll do it without getting spotted. And see if I can't get over to the other side, maybe get their artillery, take some shots on their side over there, see how that works out for us. Not a lot of support from me, from the guys in the middle, but I can't get, if I go to the middle, I'm in big trouble. I get spotted. All those guys are up on the hill. There's just not enough buildings there to completely hide. And once I'm pinned down, once they find me, they have a pretty good idea of where everyone is. So it is sometimes important to stay unspotted. And if they think you're going to be a problem because you're unspotted, i.e. they come out into the open, expose themselves, and they're going to get spotted by you and killed, then sometimes that makes them think a little bit about moving. Now, I wasn't too happy about what I was doing here necessarily because I wasn't supporting a whole lot in the middle, but I just felt like pushing in there was not going to work. And what I was hoping is my team would survive while I come around this corner over here. Unfortunately, we lost the 257. And now this has a similar problem to the west side, where there's some open spots here that you, as you cross, you can be easily spotted. I'm going to take a chance here. I don't know where that Skoda is. What I want to do is get into this bush right here. You'll notice that the T-25 followed me. So I'm going to bush up here and see if I can't catch somebody coming out and trying to get that T-10. AMX has shifted over. Now, to a large extent, we have to be pretty defensive crouch right here. They do know if they jump on the cap, we can come over and probably have a pretty easy time hitting them on the cap. So they're being wise as far as that goes. They need to take us out. And now they're pushing in on the T10. And unfortunately, I'm not able to do a dang thing about it. Now that's a good kill. The Bat Chat gets the Arty out. There goes the E75. T-30 got him. I'll just put one shot there. Unfortunately, the Skoda's got the 25, so that lets me know the Skoda's probably still up on that hill over there. Or he's swung around to the A line and he's back in their corner over there. So I'm going to bug out. And we're down to 10 to 12. Move back around here, and at this point, what I'm thinking is this is going to be a defense in these hills and these trees over here. We're going to come over here and try to take these guys out as much as possible. The AMX is in pretty good shape. He's got a standard B pushing on him. And I'm looking for that T10, the T50, and the standard B. And unfortunately, we lose our T30, so that hurt. AMX takes a hit. I'm going to come on in here, try to use these bushes and trees and see if I can't find one of these guys being unwary coming up and over on this. It's just me and the AMX now, so we're at 11 and 13. 11 to 13. Alright, there we go. There goes the T10. Can't quite get a shot on him. There we go. And a miss, unfortunately. So that hurt. There we go. We got that guy. That'll work. And I'm going to back out. Now I want to reload. Unfortunately, the AMX is in trouble, and down he goes. And this guy doesn't really see me, which works out for me. Take a shot on him. And I don't know why I didn't shoot again. That was just dumb. I was really trying to dodge his shots. Probably could have put one more shot into him. Now I'm going to use these buildings as I run. Try to keep the buildings between him and I. I wish I hadn't knocked down that shack. That would have been even just a little more cover. And now I'm just making a run for it. And what's interesting is that T10 is nearly as fast. Not quite, but nearly as fast as a standard B. I fully expected to run into the Type 4 or the standard B as I came around this corner. That was an interesting thing right there. I did not get spotted, but I spotted him. You're going to find a case of that later on where he spots me and I don't spot him. And those are kind of the strange things about the spotting system, where there's certain spots on your tank where the spotting radiation goes out, and certain spots where if that is seen, that's how you get seen. I'm not describing that very well, but they're not the same spots in the tank. So there are places where sometimes, and I'm sure you've noticed this, you will spot someone and they don't spot you, even though you thought, you know what, I'm in range, he should have seen me. That's simply because your spotting point saw its, whatever it's called, to be spotted point, which I can't remember what it's called right now. And his spotting point did not see one of your, again, to be spotted points, whatever they're called. I've described it in other videos. I've just forgotten what Wargaming calls it. So we're coming around here, and obviously there's one guy on cap, so that's nice. Thanks, dudes. Thanks for letting me know. So I'm going to come around here. I see him. And unfortunately, they saw me coming in, and I take a hit, but I get both of them. I was really hoping to get that bush without being spotted, but I think the standard B saw me. And now I've got to keep moving. Now, T10's been coming this way more than likely. He probably figured I was going towards the cap. I'm going to come across here. And then I'm just going to go at them. I thought I was being tricky, like I might be able to fold back, but unfortunately the T10 is right out in the open. I'm thinking, well, this is it. There's a hit. That's no good. Put a shot on him. Crossover. And I thought I was dead right here. Nope. Left me with 5 hit points. Another shot on him. And I'm going to have to use these buildings again as I run away bravely. Sort of watching where I'm going and looking at him and hoping that I can get just around this corner without being shot. That worked out. You can see how fast he's moving, so he's almost fast enough. So he's got a decision. Do I go up the hill or do I go around the hill? I think either way, he wasn't really going to see me. Up the hill might be his best shot, because if he just tops in time and I don't get around this corner, he may be able to get me. See, there was a point there. He just saw me and I did not see him, so he knows where I am. Now I'm fully loaded, so I'm going to come up here. Try to get a sneaky shot on him here. Dodged it. Oh, I went down too much. I might even be able to kill him right there. But I backed off too much. Now, had I not hit him or pinned him on that one, I probably, instead of coming back up, I probably needed to run. Or potentially go up and over and down this side and try to run away again. But I've got him down to a one shot now. So I'm going to come over here. And this is a nice thing about an auto loader that has a couple shells in. I'm just going to peek over and shoot, and I don't really lose anything by taking a couple of those sneaky shots like that. I have 2 more immediately, or more or less immediately, so I'm able to peek over and take that shot. If I was a regular kind of tank, where I then had another 8 or 9 seconds of reload, he had an opportunity then to push up and over before I reloaded and take me out. But with an autoloader, that's that kind of intimidation you have with its burst capability. Plus, you have the option to take a couple cheesy little snaps like that and see if you can't kill them. Ended up being 6 kills, 3,883 damage. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. A lot of lucky stuff has to go down. Obviously, leaving me on 5 hit points was pretty lucky right there. But a good example of using mobility on your medium and continuing to just try for the whole game. This has been something that's been difficult for me lately based on the way the meta is developing. A lot of deployment losses, things where you look at it and go, man, it's just going to be a miserable game no matter what I do. Sometimes if you try hard enough, you'll come out with something like this, but usually with those kind of bad meta deployment losses, it's over more or less in 30 seconds. It's just the question is how many hit points are you going to be able to soak up, and often it's just not. It's almost too much to deal with, right? So you just get out there, get in front, take your hit points, and move on. But ideally, you always give it your best shot. Here's an example of being able to turn something like that around. Not necessarily playing really great at the beginning and ran around the map quite a bit, but at the end was able to pull this out. All right, guys, hope you like what you saw. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you.